Okay, guys, today we want to finish up kind of our knowledge about linear equations and two variables. We're just going to have two more assignments before this unit is over, and one today and tomorrow. I'll get you a study guide that you can work on Wednesday and Thursday, and we'll be testing on Friday, okay? That's a nice short unit, and after that, start Monday next week, we begin trigonometry, okay? We'll begin doing things like sine and cosine, a unit circle, and every day will be really brand new. So I have to say, that your attendance on a daily basis is super critical beginning really next week, Monday. From that point forward, every day is a brand new day. So, stuff we're still doing is definitely a review from Algebra 1, Algebra 2. But let's pick up here. We want to review linear equations. And last week, we graphed them, last week, Friday. But right now, we want to remind ourselves of slope. And so as I look at this top piece here, do you remember the formula for slope? Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. That's our slope formula. Okay. And if you remember, we have four kinds of slope. I wrote this up there the other day. We have slope that's positive, slope that's negative, slope that's 0, and slope that is undefined. So let's practice right now finding slope. I have my first point and I have my second point. Within those points, I have x and y values, x and y values. So my formula is slope equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So what is y sub 2? 6 minus y sub 1? 2. Over 5 minus 4, and I get 4 over 1. Slope is 4. Any questions there? Okay, let's try the next one. Y sub 2 minus over 5 minus negative 3. What do you get? It's plus 3 then on the bottom, so we get 0 on top and 8 on the bottom. If 0 is on top, is the answer 0 or is it undefined? Let's try it. 8 on the outside, 0 on the inside. How many 8s can you add up before you get to 0? You can't do any of them, so the answer is 0. Let's try the next one. What's y sub 2? Minus, what's y sub 1? Or 4 minus 4. So what do you get on top? 2, and what do you get on bottom? So I have 2 over 0. If 0 is on the bottom, is it 0 or undefined? Exactly, let's see why. If 0 goes on the outside and divide that into 2, how many zeros do you have to add up before you get to 2? If I add up 10 zeros, will that get me to 2? How about 100? How about a million? How about a Google? A Google is a 1 with 100 zeros behind it, right? Yeah, that's a big number. That's why the idea of Google for searches, it's a big number. That's why they have Google. Yeah, well, you didn't know that. Do you know the number Googleplex? A Googleplex is a 1 with a Google zeros behind it. If I had a Googleplex zeros, would that add up to 2? No, you still have nothing, so it's undefined. You try the last one on your own. Do D. Go. Okay, I got negative 7 over 6. We good? Okay, why don't you flip it over? We talked a little bit about big numbers. You guys realize where you You guys real? Yeah, let's check it out. We got negative 3 minus 11 is negative 14. 2 minus negative 10 is 12. Negative 7 over 6. Better? Okay. Oh, times. Okay. Now we're going to do something that you guys will be expected to do on the test. And this looks challenging, but every single one of you can do it. You need to write these two things on top. Number one, y equals mx plus b. Second of all, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Those are equations for lines. The first one is if you want to have it in slope-intercept form. The second one is if you're writing equations for lines. And I will show you, we're going to switch this and make it a little bit easier. I'm going to call this 3, okay? Line with a slope of 3 and passes through 4, negative 8. Okay? Every time it says to write an equation for each line, every time I want you to write this down. Slope and a point on your line. Those are the two things you need to be able to write an equation for your line. Sometimes the problem will give you those two pieces. Sometimes it won't. Look at the very first problem, letter A. Line with a slope of 3 passes through 4, negative 8. Do they tell you the slope? 3. Do they tell you the point on the line? Yes, 4, negative 8. I crossed off the 4/3. I want to change the problem, make it a little bit easier for us, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my point slope formula then, and I'm going to plug in some important pieces. Negative 8 goes in for my y1. So I have y minus a negative 8 would be y plus 8, right? Equals, what's m? 3 times x minus, what's my x1 value? What's my 4? I will simplify that and solve for y. In order to simplify, I'll first distribute the 3. Y plus 8 equals 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 4 will give me 12. Now what should I do to both sides? Subtract the 8. Y equals 3x minus 20. That's my equation for my line in slope-intercept form. So you pull out this worksheet for your assignment, and we're going to kind of go back and forth so I can help you guys out a little bit, but we're going to get, whoop, hey, don't do that. Okay, we're going to get rid of those, okay? Yep, and on the back side as well. So I accidentally wrote letter D down twice here, my mistake. But again, at the top of your sheet, the things you want are y equals mx plus b, and y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And every time you see the directions, write an equation for a line. What are the two things that I need? Slope and point on your line. So in this problem, we're given it. What's our slope? 5 halves, and our point on our line is negative 10, 4. Okay, so I will do one with you, and I'm going to let you do one in class, and then we're going to move on to another type of problem. That way you guys get good practice. So, y minus what? I'm going to use my equation for point slope form. Y minus what? 4 equals what? What's m? 5 over 2 times x plus 10. Stop me right now if anybody has a question how I came up with that. Okay, let's distribute the 5 halves. Y minus 4 equals 5 over 2x. I take 5 halves times 10. Means I can take 5 times 10, which is divided by 2, which is 25. So you just multiply by the top part of the fraction, you divide by the bottom part of the fraction. That's what it means to be a fraction. Multiply by the top, divide by the bottom. Now I add the 4. Y equals 5 over 2x plus 29. Right now, I'm going to give you a chance. You try letter A on your own. Try letter A on your own. Okay, let's try problem B. How is B different from the others? First of all, it says write an equation for a line. So I always write down these two things, point on line and slope. So how is problem B different from the first one? There's 2 points. What don't they give you? They don't give you the slope. Well, let's choose a point on our line. Would you like to use -2, -10, or 6, -4? Okay, we'll use 6, -4 for our point on our line. So I got to come up with the slope. I can do that. Do you remember how we came up with the slope when we first started out today? We took y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, right? So I'll just do that. What's y sub 2? -4 minus -10 divided by 6 minus -2. -4 minus -10. How do I do that? Add the opposite. What's -4 plus 10? 6 over 8. Can I reduce 6 over 8 to what? 3 over 4. Now do I have my slope and my point on my line? Yeah, you do. Okay. So I'll do y minus what? So plus 4 equals m times x minus 6. Anybody really hate the fraction there? You want to get rid of it? Should we get rid of it? I'll show you a trick. Here's how you can get rid of it. If you don't like that 4, we'll multiply through by 4. What's 4 times y? 4y plus 4 times 4. And then 3 times 4 is 12, divided by 4 is 3. So it's gone. Okay? Multiply the 4, it's gone. You don't have to multiply the x minus 6 because it's attached to the 3. So now your fraction's gone. You want to solve for y now? What do? 4y plus 16 is equal to 3x minus 18. Now what do I do to both sides? Minus 16. So 4y is equal to 3x minus 34. Divide by 4. Y equals 3 over 4x. Are 34 and 4 both divisible by the same number? Both divisible by 2. So I'll go minus 17x. There's my equation. So that's a nice way to work around your fractions, okay? So that's the second set, is if you're given 2 points. So let's go to your worksheet. Give you a chance to do a couple homework problems, okay? Let's try letter D. Let's try this one right here. I write down point on line. I write down slope. What's the point on your line? Which one do you want to use? Okay, you want to use -3, -2? But I got to find my slope. What do? 4 minus -2 divided by -4 minus -3. It's a lot of negatives, isn't it? So this could be a 4 plus 2, which is 6. And then -4 minus the -3, add the opposite, we get 6 over -1 is a -6. Here we go. Y minus or plus? Plus what? 2 is equal to -6 times x what? Plus 3. Distribute my -6. Y plus 2 equals -6x minus 18. Y equals -6x minus, whoop, I wrote 16. Sorry, I'm an idiot. -6x minus 20. Super. Why don't you try letter A on your own? Try letter A on your own. All right, return back to your notes. You don't necessarily have to go to the spot if you don't want to, but this is the last thing for us to kind of think about, write down to get to our next two kinds of problems. These two lines right here, y equals 2x plus 4 and y equals 2x minus 8, those are parallel. What do you notice about their slopes? Same. So two lines that are parallel have the exact same slope. The next two are perpendicular. What do you notice about the lines that are perpendicular? What do you notice about those slopes? I have 3/5 and -5/3. They are opposite, and opposite means if one was positive, the other one's negative. They're not just opposites, they're also, starts with an R, opposite reciprocals. So that's what you need to remember about parallel and perpendicular lines. Parallel, same slope. Perpendicular, opposite reciprocal slopes. Okay, let's go to try one of these problems then. Letter C. Every time it says to write an equation for a line, I look at slope and I look at a point on your line. Do they give us the point on the line? Give us 0, 9. Yep, next page. There you go. Now, they don't tell us the slope. They tell us it's parallel to y equals 3x plus 4. Do you know the slope? What is the slope of that line? 3. So the slope of our new line is going to be 3 as well. Easy, huh? Y minus what? 9 equals 3 times x minus what? 0. Or y minus 9 is equal to 3x. Add the 9, y equals 3x plus 9. Same thing for the next one. We have slope and we have a point on the line. What's our point on our line? 0, -4. This one is perpendicular. Do you know the slope of this perpendicular line? So the slope of this line is 5 over 9. So the slope of the line perpendicular to it will be opposite, so negative, and then reciprocal, be negative 9 over 5. So I have y, what? Plus 4 is equal to negative 9 over 5 times x minus 0. You guys. So here we have it. We've got x minus 0. So y plus 4 equals negative 9 over 5x. Simply subtract the 4. Y equals negative 9 over 5x minus 4. That takes us to our very last section, which we'll cover tomorrow. So let's put the notes away, and let's do 2 more homework problems together. So take them off your list. We'll flip over the back side of that homework page. Again, you can get rid of B, you can get rid of E. Yep, we'll do this one right here too. I'll show you guys that one. So let's, right here, you mean? Yeah. Okay, so let's try D together, okay? Every time I'm asked to write an equation for a line, I write down slope, and I write down a point on the line. They always give me my point on my line. Negative 4, 3. So what's different about this one? When you look at this one, can you tell what the slope is? I can't. What would I have to do to be able to tell what the slope is? Yeah, so I'm going to negative y equals negative 2x plus 5. I subtracted the 2x over. And now what do? Divide by negative 1. So y equals 2x minus 5. So what's the slope of this line? 2. So what's going to be the slope of the parallel line? 2. There you go. So I have y minus what? 3 equals 2 times x plus 4. I will distribute my 2. Y is 2x plus 11. And let's do this letter D, and we'll call it good. This one says write an equation for a line that is perpendicular. Perpendicular. Again, every time you need a point on your line, and you need a slope. Every single time. Can you look at that line and just by looking at it tell what the slope is? I can't either. So what are we going to have to solve for? Solve for y. Negative 4y equals negative 3x plus 12. What should I do to both sides? Divide by negative 4. Y is 3 over 4x minus 3. Whoop. Sorry, I screwed that up. I put the point where the slope is supposed to go. So negative 24, 15. All right, so slope. What is the slope of this line? This line is 3 over 4, so the slope of the perpendicular line will be negative 4 over 3. So I have y minus 15 is equal to negative 4 over 3 times x plus 24. Y minus 15 equals negative 4 over 3x. Then I'm going to take this and multiply it over as well, distribute that through. Anybody know what, it might be easier to do the division first. So 24 divided by 3, 8 times negative 4, negative 32. now add the 15. And negative 32 plus 15 is negative 17. So what I've left for you guys is, you know, you just have 3 problems from each section. And actually, you should have been able to do a couple of them while we were working in class. So you got 15 minutes here, just 3 problems from each section. The answer key is posted. If you have questions, please raise your hand, and I'll come around and help you.